What's up, guys? It's Real Some Cheesy. We're now only 17 days out. Very exciting, very hype, of course. But today I kind of wanted to follow suit and talk about the Valentines and more like Aria, right? Because the Valentines, I also want to talk about justice a bit because it's all kind of connected right through Aria. But essentially, right, we had Aria, and then Aria became Justice to keep her alive, and all the Valentines are based off Aria because, you know, Justice was extremely powerful. And the Universal Will, it's interesting too, right? Because like I kind of brought up, the Universal Will Ariel's is like the only backyard complete creation, right? Like she was made from the backyard and takes power from the backyard. But the Valentines were also made by the backyard, right? They were made in, you know, kind of inspiration by Aria, by Justice. And they were just created by the backyard, right? They don't really utilize its power. They're not as connected, probably. Like, we saw that the original Valentine could, like, enter and, you know, be alive and stuff in the backyard. And probably all the Valentines could, but for me, that at least, like, explains why they're not as strong as people like Ino and Axel or Azuno, right? Like, backyard apparitions or the Universal Will, you know, herself. But they are really powerful, right? Because it's just, like, generational stuff, right? Because you had Valentine, who's based off, you know, Aria, and then Justice, and she was pretty strong. And then you had the other Valentines like Ramlethal, Elfelt, and then Jacko, who then were like kind of inspired off. Well, Jacko was more inspired off Justice and Aria than the Elfelt and Ram were more inspired by the original Valentines. Because, right, Jacko was made by Asuka, and can he make other, like, he was trying to make a second Jacko unit, Happy Chaos, but then, you know, Happy Chaos the original, then piggyback off that name, so different people. I'll call it Happy Chaos Valentine, so I'm referring to that so we don't get too confused. But it's interesting because, like, the only three people in the story to, I guess, make actual beings from the backyard right now are, what, Happy Chaos the original, made the Universal Will, which is the most powerful, and then you have the Universal Will, who then was able to make Valentines, and you have Asuka, who's also able to make Valentines. So we learned a bit about Aria, but she was, Jacko, and to be fair, she's much more messed up. She has like that split personality stuff. But yeah, the reason, okay, kind of just rambling at this point, but the reason I do want to bring them up is because a lot of them have turned good already. Like, I know we've kind of been going this trend of like bad guys turn good, right? But again, Justice is just, you know, basically Jacko right now, right? They like took down, you know, Justice, took out the Aria part of her, and then put it into Jacko. And then you already have Elfelt and Ramlethal, who turned good. So it'll be interesting to see them again be in the story, and also like moving towards, again, coexistence. But also with Ariel's, I really want to see them interact with her, right? Because if she turns good or is just in this different state, I would really like to see how they kind of deal with that. Because essentially, you know, they loved her, and, well, I don't know about loved, but they respected her as their mother. They definitely cared about her, especially like Ram, right? Like, Ram just wanted to do everything for her before, you know, she realized, like, okay, well, she's not exactly a healthy mother. But seeing, again, Elfelt helped Ram through her times of, you know, converting her from being evil to being good and helping her through those rough times. And then Elfelt, you know, with the help of then Sin and Ramlethal, then did the exact same thing. So now that we see Ariel's taking a similar path, it'd be really sweet, and I'd kind of almost expect at this point, not in this new story, but again, because I really hope we get to see towards the end, like, them interact with Ariel's, but again, see them interact with her, and then maybe take care of her and, like, do the same things where they, like, try to show, you know, find things that she likes and everything, and maybe that will actually be a way for them to not necessarily revamp Ariel's emotions, but give her own, right? Because, well, okay, first off, I'm going to talk about this in a bit. I just need to, like, collect all my thoughts, but I, like, refound that article forever ago. They kind of talk about Faust and different things from the story, and, like, I watched the story once and then read that, and then, like, watched the story 2 more times, and then, like, read up on a bunch of things and, like, really understood the lore better. But yeah, crazy. But like I said, I'll talk about that later because that's super interesting. I just want to gather my thoughts about that still. But one thing that they do mention is Happy Chaos wasn't actually ripped out of her. He was ripped out of the backyard through her. But since she, you know, he was still connected to the backyard, and he was like the emotional side of Ino. Like, that's why her emotions got, like, ripped away. Like, this, it was more Happy Chaos's emotions, right? So we want to see, at least I want to see her develop her own emotions, similar to what happened in Zerd, right, with Ramlethal, where she was able to, again, develop her own emotions and, see things that she likes. I don't know if we'll do the exact same montage, right, because she's older, she's more evil, but again, just knowing that they were maybe going to take care of her, forgive her, it's just a really sweet thought that I would like to see a lot. And again, the Valentines are going to be, being from the backyard and seeing our, how important the backyard is probably going to be for the future. It makes sense that they probably know some stuff that we don't know as well. Or maybe if we're actually going to go into the backyard, right? Like, we know that not just anybody can go into the backyard and survive. Like, you either go crazy or you just die, But we know that Valentines can. So if we do venture into the backyard, it makes sense that, again, we have people like, well, can Jacko go into the backyard? I mean, it makes sense, right? But again, she was made by, Asuka for a completely different reason. And she was made okay. No, she definitely could. Actually, you know what? I take that back. She can, because in Zerd, we saw multiple times that, that man's just kind of chilling in the backyard, and we know that the people, who'd go to the backyard with him were, Raven, Eno. And Raven makes sense since he is immortal. Eno is from backyard apparition, and then Jacko was there too. So Jacko definitely can, but the Valentines are able to go to the backyard, and again, they have ties to Justice and, the original Gear, Commander Gear cells, and also connected to Dizzy. So if we do really want to learn about the roots of magic, we will learn exactly everything with demi-humans. It makes sense maybe that the backyard, we go and visit that place with them. Soul's a little weird because he got the flame of corruption ripped out of him, so we're not entirely sure if he's able to go in the backyard still. But again, the Valentines, Axel, Kai probably right now, of course Dizzy, Sin. So I'd really like to see them, go into the backyard and maybe explore it, discover it. I think that'd be really interesting to see, and again, break down. And demi-humans could probably go too. So if we ever do push to actually go to the backyard again, they'd go on that excursion. So, but yeah. Not really too much to talk about them. I just think they're all really interesting. I'm excited to see Ramlethal. I really hope we see Elfelt, of course, and Sin and all them. And again, I really hope we do get to see them reconsole with Ariel's, and maybe they're actually the ones that can maybe push her to the good side or push her to see humanity. Because again, Ariel's determined that, okay, humanity is not actually humanity right now because I don't believe they're humanity, blah, blah, blah. But maybe they can actually push her to see, again, develop her own emotions, and then be Eros might actually finally consider, hey, you know what, this is the real humanity. And thanks to my daughters, who I, used and abused and were just planning to kill and throw away, now they finally, these people that I, should be upset, depressed, hatred towards me, they showed me kindness. And maybe, and again, humanity showed them kindness. So maybe this is actually humanity, and maybe this is what I've been seeking. Or if we go again with the, mankind blame the beast, maybe she's gonna, maybe finally accept humanity. And then similar to, we could have a similar thing with Testament, right? Where Testament they had a very tragic backstory, and they did a lot of evil. Maybe Ariel's just gonna try to be, forgiven and accepted of humanity. Maybe she's gonna see the Valentines, her daughters get, used and abused, and then she's gonna get pissed again and, hate humanity. Or maybe she'll get abused, and we'll see the Ramlethals get, pissed and upset. So either way, really excited to see the Valentines in here. Hope we get more on them. Hopefully we get more in the backyard and all that. Love them all. They're just all such unique and fun characters, right? Emotionless, trying to learn the world. Very, Elfveld too, right? She's not necessarily emotionless, but it is fun to always see Ram just trying to learn something new every day. And in similar to Testament, I don't know really, but it's just cool to see these really powerful characters, just experience humanity and live a life and kind of get to enjoy things, right? It really humanizes them, really relates to them well. And I hope we get to learn more about Ramlethal's puppy too. That's always fun. But anyways, like I said, 17 days out. This has been real so cheesy. Love y'all for keeping up with these, and